A dingo ate my baby. It's kind of hard to pick your nose when you're got a pair of panties on your face. Great thing is if you don't feel so makeup-ish that day because of the COVID-19, the coronas, I can now put a pair of panties on my face right here. Luke, I am not your father. Just saying. Now, okay, so I just watched like a lot of the Gaia interdimensional shows. These right here, what you're doing. I did that today and yesterday and yada yada yada. So it's freaking nuts, dude. I've dreamed about like a lot of this stuff. So crazy. With that being said, after I was done watching it, I was watching the Orion Light Council, and I was like, you know what? Talking about the hierarchy kind of stuff. We all know that I am one of those. You have steps that you earn, and of course you have things that you have to do to stay there. Now, with that being said, I'm a super loving, giving person, but anybody that's ever known me long enough knows not to take that as a weakness or neediness, because I go through people and situations, like I changed my underwear if I wore them. So anyway, back to what I was saying. The VA. I'm like an undercover boss, right? And I find all of the miscommunications, ding 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 ding, you know, like little light electric thingies between person, management communication skills. Of course, you know, I should really get paid for this because I just discovered a massive flaw in the Arizona communication skills. But since I found it, now they will be able to work together. Like that. Finger exercises. Me and my mom used to do them. I don't know. Jazz hands. Okay. So, oh, and what are these? A whole flock of, I can't show you that on YouTube. No, but anyway, so like I've been here for 2 months, right? And I'm waiting to get into my condo. Well, it seems as if there was too many chiefs and not enough Indians. And we all know that I like to be, that I am the #1 Indian. Now, I do not have a problem following, okay? To be a good leader, you got to know how to follow. However, there is a certain hierarchy. So I'm going to have to totally go with the draconian, reptilian, whatever side of this on that level, because you have to have, just like the planet Earth, you've got to have boundaries in which you work in. So, say, to get from, okay, I can go from, let's see a good one. Okay, so you come to my table, right? I made hamburgers, and I set the burgers down. I'm like, all right, guys, make a burger. Now, the only thing you have to choose from is what I stuck on that table. But you have free choice of what I stuck on that table. Now, you can ask me for something that isn't on that table because I may have forgotten it. And if I did forget it, then I'll go to the fridge and I'll get it and put it on the table. However, I am not going to put my happy little bottom in a vehicle and drive down the road to go get you a bread and butter pickle because I have a kosher pickle. That is boundaries. So that is the hierarchy in which I can communicate that to. However, wow. Like, I don't even know how to process all of the information I have been given in this last few days, last week, something like that. So so there's a new super pink moon coming up. It is Monday the 26th. We actually have another full moon the following month, May 26th. This one happens to be in Scorpio. I happen to be a rising Scorpio. Well, depending, okay, so like topical, right? I'm like Cancer Sun, Gemini Moon, rising Scorpio. But then if you go to Sigil, then I'm not even a Cancer at all. Like, I'm, according to the site that I pulled up, a Gemini Sun, because I was born at a time when I shouldn't be born. So, Gemini Sun, Taurus Moon, and still a rising Scorpio. That's if I was actually born at assuming 5 p.m. Right? Yeah, so really nobody fucking knows. I don't know. I get the slightest clue. It's hard to do astrology when you don't know when you were born. However, I do know that I really resonate with Scorpio and I really resonate with Gemini. I do not resonate that much with Cancer. But I like Cancers, and, you know, my birthday's in July. So, and of course, my kids is the 3rd, my mom's is the 4th, and, you know, so on, so on, so on. Now, one of them, for my family members, you need to watch, get on Gaia, go to Prime Video, Amazon, get a Gaia Interdimensionals, watch the 11th density Arcturian one, right? Because I'm gonna shit you not. You've got to watch it, because if you guys remember, whenever I died, and I did die, guys, I literally died. Somehow 2 things. So this is what happened. I'm in Mississippi. Oh, I don't think I have enough room for this. Anyway, I was at work. Daytime, I wasn't on any drugs. I wasn't drinking. I wasn't doing anything, right? And I was totally unexpected. I walk upstairs to start on the windows to tear them apart because they're in demolition. And I walk in the door. There's a watery substance thing, right? Looks like it's a fucking Stargate. It looks like Stargate HG1 without the outside, right? And because the 2 things happened simultaneously. One is I walked in, I walked directly into this water Stargate, or it opened up on top of me, and I knew I was dying. Like, I like felt faint, and then I started falling, and it was like super, super slow-mo. And I remember whenever I was going down, I was like, you know, I'm not even scared. Oh my God, I'm not afraid at all. I was like, really, I was kind of like, this is it? You know, it don't hurt. My life didn't flash before me or some crap like that. I just really thought, here we go again, because I knew I was going to go somewhere else, I guess. You know, I did then instantly somehow. Anyway, so, and I go down on my knees, but before I go down on my knees, as I'm going down, I felt someone Oh, no, no, no. Oh, sorry. So I go down on my knees and I'm like, and then that's where this thing stops. Okay, so this is like two things that happened simultaneously. The other thing that happened at the exact same time was, okay, I said that wrong. So the one I just said, scratch out the Stargate. Okay, the Stargate was not in that one. So basically, I walked into the room. I felt faint. I was like, oh God, you know. And I was like, I'm dying. I was like, this is it, like, and I'm going down, right? So I'm going down. I was like, I hope this doesn't fucking hurt when I hit the floor, but obviously it's not going to because I'm dying and there's no pain here. So while that's going on, this happened simultaneously. I walked into the room. I seen the water Stargate. Okay, I walked into the Stargate, or it opened up on top of me. I started to go down. I knew I was dying, or something, and I was going down. And before I went down, something had come out of the Stargate, and it was a him. I don't know how it was a him because I couldn't see him, but I felt a masculine presence. And so he put his arm around my waist and like lowered me down on my knees, because I remember thinking in the other simultaneous thing that I hope it didn't hurt whenever I hit the floor. But I guess it wouldn't if I'm dead, right? So, but I guess they were all tangled. They were going on at the exact same time, right? So it was happening at the same time, right there in one space. Fucking weird. Okay. He puts his hand around my waist, lowers me to the floor very gently, very lovingly, very caringly. In the moment that my knees and my hands hit the floor, I still had no breath. I was on my hands and knees for a minute, and then I could breathe. Then I just started to breathe. I was like, and then gasping and coughing, and then like freaked me out, right? So I went and I told my aunt, and my aunt's like, lost your mind. Like, you girl, you're crazy, right? Then okay, so I'm not scared of anything. I go and I end up, before the day of working is over, I locked myself, I didn't lock myself in, but I went into this little closet thing, dude, and I stayed in there and I cried. And I just cried and cried and cried. I didn't cry because I was scared. I didn't cry because I was hurt. I was crying because it was like so, I could feel every fucking thing. Like, I could feel everybody's feeling. I could feel all of this energy, all this. It was all like a big bum rush, And I'm like, this is too much. Like, I gotta go home. Like, I got to get away from people. Like, I can come back to work in the morning, but right now, I need to exit away from all of the living beings that I'm having an issue, like, separating myself from them and not feeling their stuff, right? Now, we go back to the hotel the very next day. Go back to work. There was a guy that worked, that lived there in Mississippi. This was in Tunica, Mississippi. And I seen him. I'd never talked to the guy, but I seen him. And while I was down there earlier, I was like, man, we're in Mississippi. It'd be kind of cool to get some, like, some moonshine, right? And I was thinking that in my head, like, earlier, before I died. And we went to leave, and that old man, he got in his truck to leave that day, and he hollers at me. He hollered at me by name, and I was like, yeah. And he was like, come here. And he's like, I got something for you. And I'm like, okay, what? And I go over there, and he's like, what kind do you want? It was like, I don't remember, like peach watermelon, or something like that. I think it was like peach and watermelon, peach and strawberry, or some shit. And I was like, I like strawberry or watermelon. I think it was like watermelon or some shit. And I was thinking to myself at the time, because he started pulling out the bottles, right? So he was giving me moonshine that I did not ask him for. But I was thinking in my head before I died that I wanted some moonshine. So, and I was thinking as he's pulling out this bottle, and he asked me, I was like, man, I'm here with my aunt, and my aunt really likes like that homemade moonshine stuff too. You know what I mean? And my aunt's the boss, and well, you know, she owned that company, and of course that company worked with all these other companies, and so I'm like, and I don't even know this guy, so I'm like, thinking, man, I really need to give my aunt one, and like I don't want to take one without getting one for my aunt, because then I would feel bad. And he's like, and what kind does your Aunt Kim want? And I was like, well, I said she'll take peach. So I got peach, and then I got what, watermelon or whatever kind it was for me. Okay, so that's only part of it. Apparently this is still going, so I'm gonna put this in. Okay, so the day before I died, this is all in the same trip to Mississippi where we were demoing and cleaning and all this kind of stuff. Now, me and my aunt, I mean, we've been busting our ass, right? So we were really, really tired. We went to bed, and I kept waking up and peeing, and she's like, "What is wrong with you, Misty?" She's like, "Cause you keep waking up and like gasping for air and stuff, right?" And I'm like, dude, I don't know. It's like I'm like jumping in Abby or whatever. Like I'm bawling, and there's no sense of anything underneath me, or like what you would imagine being in outer space. That's what it felt like, right? But I was like, and it scared me, so I woke up, right? And I peed, and then I went back to sleep, and I went right back into it. And whenever I went back into it, I was like, don't be scared, just go with it, just flow, right? Just it is what it is. So I did. Then I went from there into the stream. Okay, so I'm in this like building that it's like a straight rectangular building, but in the middle of the building, underneath it, it's like here's the hill, and the building goes straight across, and so there's a big indentation here, right? So you could probably like walk through or whatever. Well, there's a pretty big space, like a river or something could go through, but there wasn't nothing there. It was just like it's empty. It was like glass, like the building went across this big ravine or whatever the fuck. Only there was trees and stuff and all this stuff around. It was the only building out in the middle of nowhere. Now, in the building was a bunch of engineers, okay? And they all look like a bunch of I don't know, like Indian engineers and some Chinese engineers and whatever. Well, I left the classroom, and I was walking. I was down on the bottom portion, because it goes down like that, right? So you can also go outside there because there's a staircase. So I go down. There's a soda machine like right here. So I go down. There's a soda machine right here. I'm walking down the hall. I'm walking down the hall. There's some people right here. Some people right here. Next thing I know, I'm like looking out because it's all glass on the sides, right? So you can see everything outside. And fucking shit just starts, like meteors or whatever, or spaceships are like coming down, and they're fucking going into the building and it's killing everybody. Well, in my head, I was gonna go left, but I went right, but I didn't get very far. And I seen it, because for me it happened kind of slow motion, so I grabbed the one person and I covered them up, and I got hurt, but it didn't kill me, and the person underneath me was fine. So excuse me, so all of a sudden it went straight from that. Well, then I, of course, I get up and I look around, and like everybody's fucking dead, right? And it goes from there straight back into the dream in the beginning, like the same place. Like I just replayed it, and it was like whenever I replayed it, then whoever the engineers or whoever it was, they were trying to kill everybody in the thing, right? And it didn't kill me, and so they were like, oh well, we're going to change this up and see if we can kill her then. And I changed it up, right? Like, I don't know, my intuition just told me to do something else. So this time I grabbed this person over here and this person, and there was a soda machine, and we kind of turned, and anyway, the soda machine, whenever the spaceship thing or the meteor hit or whatever, it like kind of fell up against the wall, so there was a little space. So now I saved two people, well, three people all together. And it went like this over and over and over. So I woke up and I told Kim, I was like, man, she was like, what were your dreams about, And I was like, man, this is what happened. I was like, check it out. I was like, these some bitches were trying to fucking, they're trying to get me. I said, but they didn't get me, like, you can't get the gotter. The gotter can't get got, right? Something like that. Anyway, I love Medea. Anyway, yeah. So then I'm telling her this, and as I'm telling her this, we're in the lobby where you get like your free coffee and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, yeah, I was like, there was engineers and they look like Indians and stuff. Not Indian dot. Not Indian feather, Indian dot, right? So she's like, oh, okay. And about that time, there was an Indian dot, not an Indian feather, walk around the thing. And I was like, whoa. And it looked just like one of the guys in the freaking thing. And I was like, Kim, that's fucking creepy. I was like, it's really weird. And she's like, maybe you should smoke something or something. There's something wrong with you. You need to balance yourself out there. And I'm like, no, it's just a dream. But I always have crazy dreams, right? I've had crazy dreams ever since I was born, so it's not like something new that people hear about. Well, maybe you guys now, but my family has. So I had that dream. I went to work, and I died. I think it was the same day that I died. If I didn't die that day, I died the next day. And then, yeah, it wasn't the same day. I didn't die the same day. Yeah, because that would have really pissed me off. It would have really, really, really pissed me off. So I didn't die the same day that I had the dream, the morning after the dream. It was the following day, because we were there for like 2 weeks or a week or something. And then I died. And then the next day, that weird stuff happened. So, like, I never even spoke to the dude. So, anyway, for the ones of you that know that story and, like, seeing how fucking weirded out that I was, and I can't believe I'm even telling the story on YouTube, but the Stargate thing made me have to. This totally, completely happened. I mean, and so, of course, from then, my life has definitely changed. It has been a roller coaster, but it's been a roller coaster in a way that after it's gotten more spiritual. Now, it was semi-spiritual before that, like a bunch of weird stuff had happened, and then, I started watching Kyle's videos, and that was making me feel a little bit better, and then I was doing good, and then self-sabotage, I guess. Well, actually, I died, and then, like, all at once stuff happened. But, yeah. So, if you guys get a chance, definitely go to Gaia channel and watch all of those, all of them. Especially, I don't know about some of the interviews. I haven't watched, like, interviews with just, like, other people's stories yet, but I've watched 11 dimensional beings interview with the beautiful woman, or a beautiful girl. So guys, you definitely want to check that out, just because she's really pretty to watch, and it's got really pretty eyes, and it's really weird, because like there's no expression on her face, like, she's channeling. It's weird, but cool. Yeah, that's the one with the Stargate and the pretty girl, so definitely everybody watch that one. Then there is Afton, the ancient something. So, like, all the ones where there's channelings, watch them. So, yeah, 11th dimensional, Orion one. Watch, Orion Light Council, the Light Council. Some really creepy stuff, but super cool. So, with all of that being said, my suggestion to you is to resonate, and what you'll get to from that is basically we all have a choice as to what and where and when we want to experience. Okay? So if you don't resonate with the frequency of shit that you don't want, you're not going to experience it for the most part. Now, just as we have free, okay, in the hierarchy, so there would be it would be us, the fractals, the oversoul, which is us fractured out, so like all the little mini-me's, right? Sis, you know that because I always talk about my mini-me's. Then you have source, and then your other source. So there's like galaxy, universal, and then God source, something like that. Anyway, point is, and for the God people, so here we go. There's God, okay? And God's got his grand plan. And we are all fractals or fragments or angles or angels or aspects of the God source, okay, of God. We are a part of him. He is a part of us, okay? So I'm not saying that we are like me. I'm the only God and like all of y'all are fake. That's not at all what I'm saying. Don't take it that way. So whenever I say we are God, it's in essence we are part of God, just like it says in the Bible and every other kind of teaching, okay? So with that being said, he's got our source has, I call it the Allspark, okay? So the Allspark has got his, the Allspark has its plan, which is for the good of all, right? It's like the big picture. It's like my paintings. I should probably practice this before I got on here. Okay. If I sit back from the painting, I can see all of it, the big picture. If I get my face up in there, I'm like, I only see a piece of it. I'm like, man, that spot is ugly. I don't like it. I don't get it. And then so at that point, I'm like vibrating on a low vibration. I'm like, and so I can stay going, and then I'm going to experience things that make me want to go, or I could be like, man, I gotta pee. Go to the bathroom, come back into the room, catch a glimpse of my painting, and be like, I get it. I like it. That is your free will choice. And really, it is what it is. The main thing we control, the only thing we control, is how we perceive a situation and the free will choice to choose whether or not we want to grow from it or not. You can sit back and you can cry, you can blame mommy, you can blame daddy, you can blame whoever, okay? And not saying that the incidents and things that happen may or may not have in some way been contributed to, other people's pieces and stuff. You chose to vibrate on that level, okay? Because you can't get out of it. Because some things you are going to have to experience. Because if you don't experience them, you're not going to know the opposite of it. And I don't care what, okay. Everything black is not bad. And everything white is not always good. There's no good, there's no bad, okay? You cannot appreciate, okay, here we go. Here's an example. Everybody asked me why in the hell I stayed with Sean for so long and went through the shit that I went through. And I tell everybody, I didn't become a woman until after Sean. it was because of him that I became a woman. Well, it wasn't because of him. It was because of my choice to stay, to learn from the situation, to understand it. I knew that there was something that I had to take away from it. And without that experience, if I had avoided that big boulder in the face, I wouldn't be who I am today. How would I even know what that is? So now, because of him, I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I'm going to stand for, and I know exactly what I'm not going to. And so that is my free will choice, and that I am grateful for.